Unhappy meal. The battle continues. If kids are getting obese eating fast food, whose fault is it? The restaurant or the parents? Well, one parent is suing McDonald's because they're the ones responsible for making kids fat. Oh, really? All hail the King. A legend signs off for the last time. Larry King live is off the air after 25 years. We'll look back at how he changed television with King's friend and former colleague, Charles Feldman. And fighting mad. Politics in the U.S. can get ugly, but this is absolutely insane. All the stories people are talking about and everything you need to know right now on The Filter. Hello again off the top. It's The Filter Forefront, our top 4 of the day, including, I didn't know 8-year-olds could drive. But we'll begin with this. The Nazi salute. For many, the symbol of one of the greatest atrocities in the history of the world. For others, a symbol of free speech. What do you think about this? During a city council meeting in Santa Cruz County, a homeless rights activist stood and gave the mayor the Nazi salute. He was immediately ejected from the meeting. The man, whose name is Robert Norris, sued. Lower courts dismissed the suit without trial. But the Ninth Circuit Court in San Francisco has revived it on the grounds of free speech. The court ruled that Norris was ejected because of his viewpoint and not his alleged disruptiveness. Norris can now sue the mayor, the city council members, and the city. Our contributors tonight, Doctor of Social Ethics Charlotte Laws, and civil rights attorney and radio talk show host Leo Terrell. Our pictures are furnished by Skype. Leo, here we go. Is giving the Nazi salute in the middle of a city council meeting disruptive, or is it protected free speech?
It's the latter, Fred. I'm glad this is what makes this country unique. First Amendment, hate speech, speech that is ugly, offensive, is protected under the First Amendment. It makes this country great and how other countries are envious of us. We need to allow hate speech because it allows people to exchange ideas. And I don't see how in the world the city council can throw this guy out simply because of that salute. It's offensive, no question about it. But what is so important is to allow people to express their viewpoint.
But is that the forum? Is that the forum?
Yes.
In the middle of the city council meeting where it is not time for open questions?
Fred, yes, because it was the question is, was it the conduct or was it his expression? And I would suggest to you that you have been at council meetings, school board meetings, and people are yelling and screaming. It was his conduct or his expression of the Nazi salute. Definitely okay, is protected.
Charlotte, do you go along with that?
Yeah, I actually do go along with that. And I think it's very important that city council members and government officials err on the side of free speech. And there was a much more egregious situation about a year ago with the LA City Council when a black man came in a KKK garb and spoke during public comment. And Council President Eric Garcetti said, "You have a free speech right to wear that outfit. It offends me, but you have a right to wear it." And 4 members of the LA City Council left the room, which is what this Santa Cruz City Council member could have done if he was offended. But Leo's right. He has a perfect right to do it. I've watched the entire video, and he was 100% within his rights what he did. And if he had made some other gesture like rolling his eyes or sticking his tongue out, would that have constituted behavior that means he should have been kicked out of the meeting?
Leo and Charlotte, both of you, how about flipping the bird? Would that be free speech?
I still think it's free speech. Yes, I really do.
Yes.
It's important that people be able to speak their mind at these meetings. Yes. It really is.
Well, apparently you can
just like we can on the filter, Fred. Free speech here.
Yeah, but you're not giving me the Nazi salute. All right, let's move on. For the second time in a week, police opened fire and killed a man who thought they were pointing a gun at them. First time in Long Beach where it turned out to be a water hose nozzle this morning in Santa Ana. Police were called about a domestic violence situation. When they arrived, the man's stepfather opened the door, told police he wasn't sure if his stepson, 27-year-old Elmer Perez, was holding a real gun or a fake gun. Police heard a verbal altercation, went upstairs. That's when Perez, who appeared to be holding a weapon, turned toward officers. They fired and killed him. The family of Perez said police knew it was a toy gun. The police response, when they see something that looks like a gun, they've got to protect themselves. These kinds of things happen far too often, but the reality is you should never point anything that looks like a weapon at police. Is it realistic to hold police responsible in these kinds of situations, Charlotte?
Well, I think you have to look at everything at a case-by-case basis. But I definitely feel that they were in the wrong in the Long Beach case. And I know you probably don't agree with me, Fred. But this man, as I understand it, many of the details have come out about that case. He was sitting in a lawn chair. As you said, he had a hose nozzle. He was not contacted verbally by the police. They were all in hidden locations. There was nobody's life in jeopardy. And so I feel that was definitely a wrong action. And I think that more training is needed, obviously. The second case is difficult.
Charlotte, I got to tell you something. I appreciate what you're saying, but here's the bottom line. If you walk up and somebody points a gun at you or an object that looks like a gun, you're going to protect yourself.
Well, I don't know that he pointed the gun at anyone. And as I said, the second case, it's much more hazy because we don't have enough details yet. And I understand that police do. I mean, they obviously have a right to use lethal force and protect themselves and protect others. But you have to look at it on a case-by-case basis and look at all the evidence and make a determination. But you have to hold police accountable as well. You can't let them get away with it just because they're police.
You know, Fred, I agree. I have a sister who is in law enforcement, and so it's a tough issue. But you know what? As a civil rights attorney, I sue police officers for excessive use of force. And what bothers me, Fred, is that I have not in my lifetime heard one police department ever say, this time we got it wrong. We were wrong. They always defend every shooting, and that's where the credibility comes into play.
That's because they're worried about lawsuits, though. You got to admit they're worried about lawsuits from people like you, Leo. That's why they can't admit that.
But the point is, look, 10 years ago, I handled a very big case about a homeless woman on 4th and La Brea who was shot and killed. It was the Margaret Mitchell case. It was national news, and those officers were found wrong in doing that. A big ruling. So it happens. Mistakes happen, but the police department never admits to a single wrong.
Well, wait a minute.
Yes?
Leo, I don't think that's fair to say. There are investigations into these kinds of things all the time. And I just put it to both of you again, and this is a horrible tragedy. If you are approaching someone and they pull what appears to be a gun on you, at that very moment, the first thing you've got to believe is I've got to protect myself. Now, are the police wrong in some situations? Of course. Of course they are. But if someone pulls a gun on you, are you kidding me? You wouldn't do everything you could to protect yourself? Because you're there because there's a problem.
Yes, I would, Fred. I would. But I'm just simply saying, Fred, every time there's a shooting, the police represent themselves as always being right. I would do exactly what you said. I would protect myself. I question every case, Fred.
But I don't think the first case was a gun being pulled on the police. That's all I'm saying, the Long Beach case.
But that was a gun-like object. And you can't make that determination if you're in the field. I think it's easy to second guess. And I think it's easy to armchair quarterback and go, well, that wasn't a gun. Go out there. Go out there. See somebody pull something up like this, and you tell me if you can tell the difference. When your adrenaline is going, your heart is beating, and you believe you could be shot. All right, let's move on. Overall, the American people are forgiving. They think everybody deserves a second chance. Well, they do. But even if they forgive, they usually don't forget. And with that as a backdrop, Michael Vick wants a dog. Everybody remembers his involvement in dogfighting, which was cruel and inhumane. It cost him 18 months in prison and tens of millions of dollars. The judge overseeing the case prohibited him from owning a dog during 3 years of supervised release after prison. Now, Vick says he wants to be friends with man's best friend once again.
I would love to have another dog in the future. I think it would be a big step for me in the rehabilitation process. I miss having a dog right now. I wish I could. My daughters, they miss having one. And that's the hardest thing, is telling them that we can't have one because of my actions.
Spokeswoman for PETA says Vick should be banned from owning dogs for life. The president of the Humane Society said it might be a good thing for Vick, but not just yet. Here's the question. Not just yet or not ever, Leo?
Right now, he should be entitled. Michael Vick has done a turnaround in his life. He's speaking on behalf of the Humane Society. He's turned his life completely around, and he's sincere. That ruling, Fred, should be modified. He should be allowed to have a dog at this point, and he wants it for his young child. So, I mean, the question here is Michael Vick showing tendencies of bad traits, his old habits? None whatsoever. He should have it right now. Case closed. Let's move on.
Charlotte, I'll bet you feel differently.
You're right, Fred. His name is synonymous with hanging dogs, drowning dogs, electrocuting dogs. dogfighting. I mean, if this was a man who had sexually abused children and tortured the children and then murdered the children, we wouldn't be saying, oh, yeah, let's let him have some kids in 3 years. We'd be saying, I don't want him living near my house. Even 20 years later, we'd be saying, don't let him live near any kids or a park or a school. So to me, I think it all has to do with the fact that he's famous, that Vick is famous, he's an athlete, oh, we like him, we want to give him a break, and possibly the fact that people think, oh, dogs don't matter, who cares? Well, they're innocent just like children, and they have a right to be in a safe, protected situation.
No. Look, I have a dog at home. I love my dog. The most expensive sheltered dog in the world. Paid $1,400 for him. Expensive. My point is this. I don't want to analogize dogs with humans. And Charlotte's argument, I respectfully disagree. He should have the dog. The analogy of children being abused and what Michael Vick did, he did a wrong, but it is not the same category.
It is exactly the same thing, but it's a very long discussion. I'm not going to get into it with you right now, but it's exactly the same thing, Leo.
Abuse is abuse, Leo.
Disagree.
No? Abuse is abuse? Abuse is abuse.
That's right.
No, yeah, I agree.
And
but
his
there's certain
behavior
degrees
is
of abuse.
psychopathic, too. We're not even just talking about dogfighting. We're talking about mutilation. We're talking about some pretty horrific things.
Oh, come on. Well, this guy is such a why don't we put him in jail right now? Why don't we take him and throw him in jail right now?
Because our laws don't reflect what they should. They should protect animals much more than they do. They're not written the way they should be written.
Well, first of all, I agree with Charlotte. They should always protect animals because deep down they're little souls. But Michael Vick did his time. He did his time in jail. Okay, last one. Talked about this in the past. I'm of the opinion the only way kids get fat from toys and fast food Happy Meals is if they eat the toys. And if they do that, you got a bigger problem than an overweight kid. Nonetheless, the city of San Francisco banned toys and fast food meals unless they came with fruits and vegetables. That's absurd. This is insane. A Sacramento woman has filed suit against McDonald's for marketing Happy Meals to children. Where did she file her suit? In San Francisco. Monte Farah claims the Happy Meal toys constitute a method of circumventing parental control and teach children unhealthy eating. The lawsuit alleges that McDonald's exploits very young California children and harms their health by advertising unhealthy Happy Meals with toys directly to them, and that children 8 years old and younger do not have cognitive skills and the developmental maturity to understand the persuasive intent of marketing and advertising. Tell you what, an 8-year-old would never understand that. There's an old saying, Monet, when you point a finger, there's three pointed right back at you. I'm amazed your 8-year-old can drive to McDonald's and produce their own funds to buy a Happy Meal. Oh, what's that? You're driving the car and paying? Does Monet's lawsuit have any merit at all, Charlotte?
None whatsoever. I mean, she's obviously insane. Her attorney is probably seeking 15 minutes of fame. And if McDonald's doesn't immediately produce a summary judgment to dismiss the case, then they're obviously wanting the positive PR, like they're the good guys in this situation. But there's so many levels this is absurd, because also you can go to McDonald's and you can buy the toys for $2 without the meal. You could get the toy and the salad if you wanted to. So that's absurd. And as you said, Fred, the kid can't drive to McDonald's on her own. She has to take them there. She has to let them watch the TV commercials and all the television. She has to say no. She has to learn how to be a parent and stop shirking her responsibilities and blaming society for the fact that she doesn't know how to parent.
Now, Leo, as a very, very well represented attorney, would you take this case?
No, absolutely not. My first job was at McDonald's. Do I look fat? Do I look unhealthy? Don't answer that. My point is very simple. Absolutely not. This is a horrible lawsuit. It's embarrassing. Your opening comments, Fred, about the parent driving the kids to McDonald's, well taken, well said. It's just totally ridiculous. Waste of time. And 15 minutes of it. I agree 100%. Horrible lawsuit.
All right. And with that, I'll thank you both. Leo, I'll order you a shake. Charlotte and Leo, have a great holiday. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Fred.
You too.